Well, a friend of mine asked if I could please start a live because he has some important things that we would like to discuss. And so I think that I'm going to. There we go. So, Matt, if you could just request to join the live and then we can chat because this is also my first time doing live. Hey, Kyle. Hey, Riv. It's so nice to have you guys here. Thank you for joining. Shalita, so awesome to have you guys. Um, Also, Matthew requested, and we're just going to wait for him to accept. So, really, I'm so excited for this because Matthew started such a great platform. And, well, today he's going to tell us a little bit about that. But he also just asked if, I had something to share. And so we're going to get into that in a little. But, Matt, please tell us a little bit about your project.
All right, it seems we finally got it right. You are where the peoples can see you. All right, so Carlyle, once again, thank you very much, for jumping in on this
Thank you
for,
for having me.
stepping out of the zone. I can imagine it must have not been easy, um, you know, being on this platform, being live.
Definitely isn't.
So yeah, you had asked me to just share a little bit about this. So this is part of this unnamed project that
Mm-hmm.
I've been running for a while now, and the
Okay.
mission of this unnamed project is to break down the mental barriers that are holding back young South Africans, and
Okay.
overall the objective is to push them to start taking more action and being accountable for their lives as opposed to just waiting around for things to happen to them. So it's all about stepping up to be leaders, if we could put it in any other way. And
That's
so yeah,
incredible.
the book is all about sharing inspiring people, unique stories and ideas from people between the ages of 19 to 25. And I was so
Yeah.
happy when you decided to be like, yo, I don't mind sharing a story. And I was like, yes,
Oh
Carlisle
man.
is a good storyteller.
Yeah. And just to add, I've seen a lot of people that have joined now. So many people that I see are joining are so many people that are graduates. And I know that they've got such incredible stories to share. One of the girls that I went to university for, a young lady, should I rather say, her name is Jody. And she's studying law at the moment. Such an influential young lady. Someone that I'd really like to, just get in on the project because her voice really is one of leadership. My cousin has also joined Luke. He's also just graduated. My friend Samantha. So really, there's so many people that can just be a voice to steward leadership forward. Um, and I think we want to be the change. We should be the change we want to see in the world.
100%, 100%. And I mean, that's what this platform is literally all about. We
Yeah.
want the young Americans to start stepping up. We want them to start taking ownership. We want them to start leading. Like we're an entirely new generation, and
We
this
are.
is what we're trying to achieve. So let's jump into it. So earlier on we were discussing your feelings around this and or how you felt coming onto the platform, and I thought it
Yeah.
would be quite relevant to speak about that because we spoke a lot about the fears that may have been holding you back, and that's something a lot of people may be able to relate to. So do you want to
Yeah.
just share that with us a
You,
bit?
I think that it's important for us to open up the conversation about the fear of vulnerability. Because the reality is that we think we're the only ones who want to make a change. And I think in such a big world, it can be daunting to take that task on. And so I think
Mm,
with opening up the conversation about just the fear of starting and the unnamed project, I think it allows us to come together in a group and really just, remember that we've got one another. That like in the time of Corona, we feel so alone, but the reality is that we're together. Ubuntu is really something that um, South Africa is founded on. And so I just appreciate coming on here with you and just being honest about the difficulty that I face sometimes, being such an extrovert, being someone that's so um, okay with opening up and talking, that just the
mm,
idea of doing it on a social platform it's frightening. And so i
100%.
just I just decided, with your support and with your guidance, I was really grateful to have someone that I could do it with.
Mm. And you know, a lot of people do share that sentiment of, you know, being scared to jump out of platforms. There's always that fear of judgment. There's always that fear
Yeah,
of um, maybe people are not going to like what I said, or maybe my story is not interesting
exactly.
enough to share. People. And we're always worried about how people are going to react to that.
Yeah.
So
You
how
know,
how did you go for it?
the thing is that one thing that really touches me is how the Bible speaks about how God left the 99 sheep to go after the one. And
Mm,
just being mindful that me being honest and open can just be such an impact to one person, you know,
mm,
and really just focusing on fear doesn't do much, because that is the absence of faith, and faith is my belief system. Faith is really what I try my best to stand on, and it's at times like that when we've just got to be so honest about the fact that where do we choose to stand. And so I think it was just the reality of being mindful that in God, I have the faith that I can achieve anything that I put my mind to, and,
mm.
just conquering everything through Christ Jesus.
Stepping into your calling.
Definitely stepping into your calling, definitely. And something that impacted me, quite largely last year was, do we remember who we're called by in order to fuel the calling? Because sometimes we get so enslaved to the calling that we forget who called us,
Mm,
and it's in him who called us, that we were called in love. And so when we do the calling, sometimes we forget that we need to operate in our calling with love as well.
mm. So
Yeah.
what do you mean when you say, you know, we forget about the calling?
We forget because sometimes we become so goal orientated that we become so driven to get to the goalpost. We become so
Mm,
driven to achieving, that we forget that it's in achieving those goals that life happens. And when life happens, that's when love happens, and that's when there's beauty in life. And so
mm,
it was important for me to take a step back last year and just ask myself the question, why am I called? What is the
mm,
reason for my calling? Why am I being called? Who am I being called by? That was my first question. And that
mm.
inspired me. And so when I could really get into focus, when I could get that into focus, it also understanding who called me, whose I am, it also helped me redefine my identity. And my identity in something that's eternal. I am only as long as my earthly vessel, but God and His Word is eternal. And when I could get that right, I tapped into a source of power that is unfathomable, and that's the beauty of remembering who we were called by to fuel the calling.
100%. So it's all about understanding like why you're doing what you're doing.
100%. That's exactly
Mm.
it.
And you know, now that you mention this, it makes me wonder, like, why is it that a lot of people our age feel like, you know, it's all about being caught up in that rat race that, you know, that we spoke about, being
Yeah.
caught in this idea of just chasing after the cheese, trying to reach end goals,
Yeah.
forgetting about, you know, the things like your love, your humility. Why is it that we're so focused on these things that we forget about why we're here, why it is that we're doing what we're doing?
My personal opinion on the matter is that I know when I was growing up, family members, friends of my parents, they so many times reiterated that coming from apartheid and coming from, years of colonization, they never had the opportunities that we have today. And it was so
Mm,
greatly instilled in us to go after those opportunities. And, in those opportunities, we wanted to give them things that they never had and just repay them with the love and kindness that they tried to give us, and to the best of their ability. So I think
mm.
that's why we get caught up in it, is because, we just want to achieve what we know is possible.
We want to make them proud.
We definitely want to make them proud, and we want to do everything, possible to just share that with them, because it's true, we come from a very difficult time as a country, and it's something important to fathom, it's something important to take cognizance of. And when we really understand that, we really then have such, I think, humility for wanting to give them that.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's something a lot of us can relate to. I mean, when you think about the decisions that people make, the careers that people choose, it's all
Yeah.
about how my parents going to feel about this? Am I going to be able
True.
to make them proud? Um, and it's usually like at some point toward the end of their studies or something, then they're like, oh, this is actually not something that I can relate to. This is not
Yeah.
actually I want to be what I want to be
Yeah.
doing. And it can get so crazy just being caught up in that rat race and just focusing on the goal, forgetting that, there are more things in life. And something that I really want everyone to hear
Mm-hmm.
is this magnificent thing that you shared about,
Okay.
the clock and the hourglass. I mean, that was just mind blowing.
So I think it was one morning in my quiet time, in my devotion, that the Holy Spirit, like I said, I'm a believer. I'm a believer in
Mm,
Jesus Christ, and I believe in the power of the Holy Spirit. And I think the beautiful thing that I heard, or that was laid on my heart that morning, was something that I'd heard over and over again as a young girl. And it was a line from a TV program called Days of Our Lives. And I mean, who
mm,
would have ever thought that at the age of 23, I would have remembered something from such a young age? And I thought it was absolutely funny that was brought to remembrance. And the
mm,
line that was so powerful to me was, like the sands of the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. And it
mm,
bothered me. It bothered me so much because I couldn't wrap my head around it. And what I did was, I then went and I did some research about it. And
mm,
what I actually discovered was that as humans, there's a phenomenon that when we look at an hourglass only has a certain amount of grains of sand in it. And
mm,
it's a visual representation that time is running out, the hour is running out. But with
mm,
a clock is circular, and time just goes on and on and on a clock. There doesn't seem to be a beginning and an end, it just seems perpetual. And when I realized that our lives are like hourglasses, that we don't have that much time, and everybody looks at this clock, and I think we become so comforted by the visual of the clock, and we're like, "Ah, it's okay, I have time, I can do this, it's fine." So that was so profound to me.
And I mean, I relate to that a lot. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, just looking at the clock, you feel like you can live forever. It gives you that perception of
Exactly.
infinity. You forget that, look, there's only so much of grains, in my life. I've only got so much of life to live.
Yeah.
How I live it should be very important, and being caught up in things like the rat race should not be one of them.
Yeah.
Um, like you had mentioned something about, the calling, stepping up. What is it that you want to do in this world? What is the difference that you're looking to make in this world? And how are you going to be making that difference? Some of the very
100%.
things that a lot of people don't tap into. And I, I struggle to wrap my head around, what is holding us back? Why do we choose not to step up to the leadership roles that we're called, to partake in?
Yeah.
What is this fear that holds us back?
You know, it was a question that immediately I had answered when you asked me the question, or when we spoke about this yesterday. And I think for a lot of us, it's the fear of failure. The
Mm,
fear of failure holds us back from even trying. And that's why people don't step up, because people fear failing. But the reality is that when we fail, we can start again, but with experience.
mhm,
And that's the thing that I cannot speak for everybody, but on behalf of myself and those who do experience this, that's why people procrastinate. People
Mm.
procrastinate because it's such a psychological thing that I'm not going to try because I may fail. So if I don't try, I don't fail.
You don't experience that negative, that negative
100%.
stop doing everything else.
Yeah.
Fear. And how is it that you go about overcoming your fear? I know being on this platform was
Mm-hmm.
not easy. How did you go about overcoming that fear?
I think like I said in the beginning is that when we step out and we do this, we impact one person's life. And I know that there's so many people that have joined the live, but others that haven't, that they've impacted my life in ways that they would never even imagine. And so
Mm,
what I'm saying is that we all have a part to play, and that's why there's the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And so I
mm,
just think that if it means I need to just um, deny myself, pick up my cross, which is my calling, and follow Jesus, then I honestly believe that there's no need for fear, because this is not about me. This was never
mm,
about me. When some people do what they had to do for me, they had to put themselves aside, their fear, their anxiety, their fear of failure, all of those
mm.
things, they disbelief, they had to put all of those things aside for me because there was a greater good of something that had to happen. And I think that's why we do what we do, because this isn't about us. We are a body, we are together in this. And if it becomes about me and you become about only you, I think there's such a great element of stagnance that will then take place. And do we want to stagnate in the world?
And,
you know I don't think so.
and when you're mentioning this, it reminded me of that one Instagram post that you had. You like from Selfie Sunday to Sermon Sunday, and
Ah!
that transformation from just being an observer in things to actually stepping up and being the one
Ooh,
to lead.
what a great
To
way
lead.
of putting it.
So that's that stuck up for me, and digging deeper into, I wonder what the selfie Sunday to Sermon Sunday was about. And I
Mm-hmm.
noticed things like Transformation Tuesday, where it seems like you're going out and changing lives. And I think that's something we need to share with
Oh, wow.
people that are watching. Like, tell us a little bit about that Transformation Tuesday, and what's that about? What drives you?
Honestly, what drives me is I have come from such a big community of love and embracing, and I just think that for me, what drives me every day is the fact that I am made in love, and if I have the ability to share love, why not? You know, I do
Share.
whatever possible just to help one person, not because it makes me more of a person, but it helps them understand that they are valued, that they are loved. And I just like having people know that they are seen, that they are heard, that they are loved, and that they are capable of so many things. And I try to express that and do that as much as possible. For some
Mm,
people, it could be, possibly helping them with some money, but for other people, it could just literally be a conversation. Um,
mm.
and I think helping people transform their lives, and that happens when people are transformed in their minds.
Oof, very beautiful. Got to transform
Yeah,
life.
and that's the thing, though. It all starts in the mind. Like, your mind is a very playing field where you just manifest so many things. And if you cannot believe it, you'll never see it.
Mm,
If you don't have the faith, it will never come to being, because you have the ability to do so many things. And for some people, it takes them to know that someone's going to hold their hand, that someone's going to
mm.
be at the finish line, that someone's going to be on the sides, cheering them on, reminding them that they are loved, that they are capable, and that they are valued. And that's it.
Gotta learn to support each other, because sharing is caring. Sharing is love. Gotta
Exactly.
going around in this world. So, except for the hearts that are popping up on the screen, that's a lot of love. But yeah, but you guys, Yeah, man. I think, it's really powerful what you shared with us today. And, the key takeaways that, I'm taking away from this thing. And this is something that's going to be sticking with me. And it's that, our life is actually an hourglass and not, an infinite, a perpetual clock, as you should put it.
Exactly.
And make the most of it. Make the most of the little that we have, and try and make a difference with our lives.
Yeah,
Not Don't be scared to step up to your calling. Actually step up and lead. You've got to step out of that fear if you want to
definitely.
take charge. So those two things are key, and I absolutely love them, because not just because they're aligned with what I'm hoping to achieve with this, but it's
Mm-hmm.
something we all need to take accountability for our lives. We need to learn how to step out of our comfort zones, and we need to learn, that it's not just about you. You can't just go through this life thinking it's about you. You gotta
Yeah.
take others with you. You gotta show support. You gotta show the love, and it will most definitely be reciprocated. So I really appreciate your story. Very insightful, Carlyle.
Thank you so much for having me, Matthew. It's something I love talking about. I just love having conversations and hearing other people's perspectives because just like you feel that what I shared today impacted you, I also just feel that, you just reminding me that I have a friend, I have a cousin, I have someone that's going to hold my hand when I just want to step out and give me a call and remind me that I can do all things. It's
Mm.
just really grateful. Well, I'm really grateful, and it's really awesome to know that. So thank you for having me. Thank you for opening the conversation up. I really just hope that there's going to be so many people that begin to invest in you. And thank you for being the change that we want to see in the world.
I'm not the change. I'm just leading it.
And that's
We're
where
all
change starts because you're starting with a man in the mirror, and that's all that matters.
100%. Carlyle, thank you very much for having this conversation with me. It was really amazing. I'm going to be viewing life differently. I might actually stop
Awesome.
digital if we're being honest. So I really do appreciate, and to everyone, that's joined in on the live, we really appreciate that,
Yeah.
you've spent the last 10, 15 minutes in this conversation with us. But remember, the conversation doesn't stop there. We really
Yeah.
want to be engaging with everyone. If you've got a story that you want to share,
Oh,
please
please.
get in touch with us. Drop a comment, do something. Like, let's start the sharing, because sharing is caring.
Yeah.
Uh,
And if I could just echo that as well, is that let's open up the conversation and, like they say, great minds talk about ideas. Maybe you have an idea that could, transform what we've started. And that's literally where we're going to build this empire. We're going to build and extend the kingdom. So please, drop us a comment, a DM. If you know someone that can be so influential and impactful in this conversation, someone that can contribute to this, then please. I see Kyle says that he wants to be on a live, and that's incredible, and we want to have you, Kyle. And so we will definitely sit down and plan it, and yeah, see you soon,
yeah,
Kyle.
Kyle, jump in, bro. We got you. So yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. And I think I just want to reiterate this comment that's absolutely amazing. Just
Mm-hmm.
in close, ladies and gentlemen, just be transformed. And this is a quote by Zahn, Flutter Butterfly. Really. Be transformed by the renewing of the mind. This is all that we're trying to achieve. We
Yeah.
share stories, we share ideas, talk to people. Let's renew our mind through each other's experiences, and let's, lead our generation into a new era. So thank you all. Thank you very much, Carlyle. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much, Matthew.
Hoping to have this conversation again very soon.
God bless you guys. See you soon.
Bye.